Hi everyone, it's Adam here from ADS Productions with the review of the ASUS Zenbook, specifically the UX305UA model. Some of the specs include an i5 processor, specifically the i5-6200U. This is 2.3 GHz. The graphics chip inside here is an Intel HD Graphics 520. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, a 13.3-inch IPS display panel at 1080p, a 2 megapixel webcam. It weighs around 3.2 pounds or 1.45 kg. The dimensions of this machine in inches are 12.8 by 8.9 by 0.48. On the right hand side of the laptop there are indicator lights for both power and charging, a headphone jack, a micro HDMI port and 2 USB ports. Switching over to the left hand side of the laptop, we have an SD card slot and 2 USB ports. Ideally, I would have liked to have a VGA port as well, or even just a full-size HDMI port on its own. The reason for this is the micro HDMI ports tend to be less common than the full-size one, because most screens and TVs have full-size HDMI, but with this one you're going to need some sort of adapter or cable. It's a tiny problem. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just something just to be careful of. When you first start using the laptop and moving it around from point A to B, you'll immediately notice that it's an extremely lightweight device. It's perfect for the more out and about individual, as it doesn't feel like you can just put it down and then, oh my god, it's such an effort to put it back in the bag and take all the cables out. It's a very small, a very lightweight, a very compact device. So you can just shove it in the bag or shove it in the laptop case. It's great for just moving around, moving from A to B and getting the job done. If you were to compare it to any other laptop on the market, due to its keyboard, design, weight, etc., I would probably go for the MacBook Air, as it's ridiculously thin, the keyboard is oversized in a good way, and the screen is very sharp, as obviously it features the 1080p IPS panel. Now obviously if you compare the MacBook Air and this laptop, the MacBook Air will run away with the results, but I'm talking purely design-wise and the weight of it and the way the screen opens, but we'll get onto that later on. A minor detail that I really like about this laptop is that the screen has a very nice weight to it, which means when you open it by the screen, the whole laptop doesn't move or shake. It's quite hard to explain what I mean by this, but when you lift the laptop open, it doesn't rattle or shake the rest of the laptop. It doesn't really move when you let go of the laptop screen. Even if you smash your hands against the desk or any surface that your laptop's on, the screen won't move. Well, if it does, it will move a tiny bit, but nothing in compared to other laptops. It just makes it feel like a well-built product. You'll see for yourself if you ever get the chance to try one of these. Using the machine in the blaring sun was pretty good. It didn't really stop me being able to see stuff on the screen. Yes, you could see the reflection of the sun a little bit, but as long as you didn't look into it and burn your eyes out, you'll be fine. Overall then, with the screen, when you're using it to browse the web or do some work, you're not going to be blown away by it, but I can safely say that it kicks out a clear, bright and consistent image that is ideal for a laptop of this style. Having a full-size keyboard on a small form-factor laptop may not be the standard and certainly adds to the MacBook feel, but I can tell you it's very nice to type on, it gives you more freedom, and certainly as someone with bigger hands, you're less prone to the fat finger typos that many of you will have experienced. This keyboard does not have a backlight, that's the only problem. Why couldn't you have just put a backlight in? Oh well, I mean I can live with it. I'm not normally on the laptop in the pitch black, and I can deal with the fact that I won't be able to see all of the keys all of the time, but it would have just been so nice to have a keyboard backlight. It seems like such a simple thing, but I kind of get it. It's not supposed to be an all bells and whistles device, it's supposed to do a job and do a job well, just not in the dark, clearly. The trackpad works well, it's very responsive. You can move from point A to point B fairly easy. Left and right click work well. What more can you want from a trackpad? The only downfall that I can think of is that it's a slight fingerprint magnet. To be honest, what do you expect from a trackpad? If you're using it all day, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, you know, all that stuff. The weight of this laptop is the key selling point, and quite rightly so. I'm not going to say any more than they found the sweet spot between making a product that feels high-end, but not sacrificing the weight and keeping it lightweight but feels like a well-built, powerful machine. Okay, so now for the not so good thing. The speakers. First of all, the speakers are on the bottom of the laptop, pointing down. Okay. So if you're using this on a desk, say you've got some paper on there or you've got any other material or obstructions, the speakers are going to be muffled. If you were going to have high quality speakers built in, yes, I understand why they would have put them on the bottom to try and amplify the sound and have an overall cool experience. But these speakers are not great, so at least put them on the front of the laptop above the keyboard so it won't be interfered with, at least. But on the other side, you're not really going to be buying the Zenbook to use as a multimedia machine, to blare 5.1 surround sound audio or watch movies with immersive soundtracks. Well, if you are, I really do hope you're going to be investing in some high quality audio peripherals, because you're going to need it, because this laptop is not good when it comes to speakers. It is kind of a shame, because other than the fact that I think the small form factor design with the vivid screen and the sturdy build all complement each other, they seem to be let down by this speaker. I just feel that even if they were just, upgraded slightly, it would make the world of difference. And to be honest, I would have probably been okay if the device was slightly heavier and as a result had better speakers. Normally on a review for a laptop or any other device, I would run over some of the benchmarking software and talk about how much FPS you can get. However, this laptop is not meant to be a high-powered gaming monster or a rendering rig. It's supposed to be good for office functionality, web browsing and other professional tasks. Me personally, I played around with Photoshop, Vegas Pro and many other applications, and I didn't find any problems here. The fan started spinning fairly loudly when I was a few hours in to video editing, but that was probably because I was using it for quite some time in a fairly warm environment. Essentially, it handles most things pretty well. I wouldn't really buy this for gaming, even if it's light gaming, but you can get away with playing some games on an ultra low setting. The battery is pretty good too. A power brick is included, obviously. It takes around 2.5 hours to fully charge. And if you're using it for very light web browsing, you can expect around 7 to 8 hours of use, and with heavy usage around 3.5 hours. Overall, the lack of a backlight and poor speakers are massively overshadowed by the sleek design, impressive battery life and the sharp IPS display, making this one of the best laptops/ultrabooks in its price range. This has been Adam from Ads Productions with the review of the ASUS Zenbook UX305UA.